Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have 5 news stories, but I'm sure that each one of them deserves to be heard to the end. And let's start with the shortest story. Apparently, I'm a doctor. Hi, I'm fairly new here, and this is a long story, but hey, let's just say my name's John Doe. I often get phone calls that go like, "Hey, John." I reply something sensible, and they go, "Listen, I have such and such issue with the patient." It's always annoying calls about medical events or colleagues. Bear in mind, I'm an engineer. So this idiot, Dr. John Poe, has a name that's almost identical to mine and decided whenever someone's annoyed, he gives them the same wrong number, my number. And every other call I get is an "I don't work here" scenario, adding SMS and WhatsApp. I got fed up, found his number, and tried contacting him to no avail. I sent him a message with a lawyer who contacted me and knew him personally, and a girl he was dating, to no avail. So I figured I would have some fun. I know for a fact he sees face-to-face some of these people, so I started interrupting them as they began asking once I knew they were not patients and hanging up. I said stuff like, "Sorry, can't talk, just found out I'm getting a divorce." Some of the excuses I used are, "I got herpes, I'm in jail." Silly, more or less harmless stuff. Then I ran out of ideas and began saying things to the effect of, "It's not urgent, but I really need to discuss something with you." I wasn't trying to get him in trouble or worry anyone too much, but annoy him. So one day I get a call from John. He wants me to stop. He's quite mad, wants me to change numbers. Well, that's not going to happen. Well, that's the last time I heard from John. I kind of miss him, actually. It's always great when karma works right. And we move on to our next story. Lady assumed I was stealing. I work in golf maintenance at a very fancy golf course during the summers while in college, and I did it in high school too. I was working the driving range one day and getting stuff ready when this lady was hitting golf balls and decided to come over to me, red in the face, and say, "Excuse me, young man, you aren't allowed to use that cart. Didn't your grandparents tell you?" I say to her, "Ma'am, I work here. I'm most definitely allowed to use the cart." She then looks like she's sucking on a lemon and says, "Don't lie to me. I know you're staying with your grandparents for 4th of July and you stole a cart from one of those damn Mexicans who actually work here, trying to be cute." I was floored. I had no idea what to say because I couldn't believe she felt the need not only to be racist towards my coworkers/friends, but also condescending towards me. I just go, "All right, ma'am, I need to get back to work." She grabbed my arm and says, "No, you're coming with me. I know the general manager and he will throw you out personally." I grin and say, "All right, fine, then I'll come with you." So we take her cart back to the clubhouse and go into the general manager's office. She goes through the whole rant saying how I stole the cart and pretended to be an employee and got very loud, and after she finished, she says, "What do you have to say for yourself?" I turn to the GM and say, "Well, Dad, you see, the thing is," and she interjects and says, "Wait, this is your son? You let your son go and steal carts from the help?" My father just says, "Ma'am, he works here. There's no problem." She just got extremely embarrassed and left. Love it. Some people are just horrid. I love when this happens. I know the manager. Well, not as well as I do. And our next story. Thank you for the new phone and a limp. A while ago, while I was on my break from a retail store that I work at, I was shopping in the electronics store directly next to the store I work at. I was wearing the store uniform, which is a very distinctive red and khaki, with a jacket on top, as well as my name tag, which very clearly states what store I work at. Anyways, enter crazy mom and her 4 kids. I hear this piercing whistle from behind me a few times, so I looked over my shoulder because, well, crap damn, it was loud. This lady was barreling towards me with her kids in tow. As I turned to her to see what all the hustle and whistling was about, she grabbed my wrist and knocked my phone out of my hand. I then looked down and can see glass shards everywhere as the phone is smashed to hell. So I give her the classic, "What the F, lady?" To which she responded by hysterically screaming that employees should not be texting while working and that I should be ashamed of keeping her waiting because I was texting. I then turned away and she kicked my ankle as I walked away. I tripped, sprained my ankle, face planted, and nailed my shoulder on the shelving. Her kids started laughing and pointing. About this point was when an employee arrived and was able to help me up and see if I was okay. So now she finally thanks for a second, and a whole new look came over her face. She realized that I don't work at this store in the first place. Then another new look as I told the employee to call the police. She started pleading with me that it was just a mistake and that she was just having a bad day. Long story short, she was arrested on assault charges and eventually had to replace my phone. Second, she was given 350 hours community service. Third, I was awarded a decent sum of money. And my personal favorite is that she has to pay for and attend therapy sessions for the next 3 years on account of her rage issues. But she was having a bad day, see? Even if you were an employee, though, I still would have taken her to court. The fact that she got scared when she realized you didn't work there is just upsetting. Like, what, it's okay to physically assault someone if they're working? Well, let's move on to the next story. No, I don't work here, but neither should you. Anyone who has ever shopped at Home Depot knows how hard it can be to find an employee to help you. If you do find one, that doesn't always mean they will know what they're talking about. I'm always at Home Depot picking up odds and ends that I've forgotten to order from the supply house for my job. I can't believe the number of times I've overheard employees giving customers wrong and sometimes dangerous information. For example, a customer wants help hooking up his new hot tub. Orange Aproned Idiot is explaining to customer how he just needs this standard non-fused disconnect meant for air conditioners and some of that yellow wire. At this point, I had to step in. Me. Sir, do you know what amperage your tub is rated at? Customer, shuffling the papers he was smart enough to bring with him. This says 40 amp minimum, 50 amp max. Me. That's what I thought. If you use that yellow wire, the best you can hope for is that you'll constantly be tripping the circuit. At worst, you could burn down your house. I then direct him to the correct size wire and fuse disconnect and asked him if he has a permit for the electrical work. That's when Orange Apron, who's been following us and muttering, finally finds his voice. Oh wait, he doesn't need a permit. As a homeowner, he can do whatever he wants. Me. Yeah, no. In this state, even homeowners are required to get permits and inspections by the local authority having jurisdiction. In this case, it's the city of Home Planning Department for all electrical work. Oh wait. Oh yeah? How would you know? Me. Looking down at my shirt with the electrical contractor I work for on it. Yeah, you're right. I've only been doing this for 20 years. What would I know? Turning back to customer. Look, you can listen to him if you want. It's your house and your life. Oh wait. He's just trying to scare you into hiring him to do it for you. Me. Actually, I don't have the time for side jobs. And besides, I don't have a contractor's license, just a journeyman's. I can't pull permits. Have a nice day. As I'm walking away, the customer puts his items down and tells OA that he won't be needing them after all. The next day, I get a call from my boss. It seems he received 2 phone calls that day. The first was from a manager at Home Depot who was complaining that I was poaching jobs in our store. After telling him what happened, he ended up calling them back and asking if it was their policy to endanger lives and property with incompetent advice. The second was from the customer, who now wanted someone from our company to come out and do it right. I'm constantly helping people at Home Depot because even when there is someone around, they don't always work in that department. I can't blame them too much, though. They don't pay high enough wages for expertise. And another wholesome little story for dessert. Yes, I work there. There, and there, but not here. I actually have a lot of jobs. I think I'm up to 5 at the moment. All 0 hours, flexible, and freelance stuff. I've got to jump around a lot if I want to make full-time pay. Most of my jobs involve caring for or entertaining children in some way. There's this one little girl, I'll call her Jane. She's about 6 and lives in my town. She has a few younger siblings and keeps showing up at my various jobs. We don't really know each other. I just recognize her face and she recognizes mine. Each time she finds me, she gets more and more confused. So during the school holidays, our interactions were sort of like, week 1, I painted her brother's face at the fair. Week 2, I helped her sister choose a book at the library event. Week 3, I sold something to her mom at the shop, etc., and so on. I've never interacted with her directly, but I've seen her at least once a week all summer. Each time she clocks me at a different job, I can see her little brain trying to figure out why I'm also here. I'm also starting to scare her a little bit, like maybe I'm following her or something. No one else in her family seems to notice or remember me. So the town had this big event at the end of summer. I wasn't working. I was there enjoying some candy floss and chilling out dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm sitting on the benches and Jane and her family walk past. Her head turns all the way around as she stares at me. I can see her brain freaking out a little bit. Why am I here too? I give her a little wave. She waves back and off she goes. About a half hour later, I'm watching the school kids perform their little show and I feel a tug on my sleeve. It's little Jane, tears in her eyes. She asks if I can help. This is the first time she's ever spoken to me, but she's lost her mom and she needs help. So of course I'm going to help her. Having worked with kids, I know the drill. I get the info we need, mom's name, what she's wearing, I couldn't remember. We find the lost children stand and get the staff to send out a message for the mom. I assure her that mommy's looking for her and we'll wait till she finds us. She's holding my hand as we wait and she says, "I'm glad you work here too." I didn't have the heart to correct her. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.